Did you know that around 14 million pounds of trash and waste are deposited into seas and oceans every year? And did you know that about 2,000 children die every day because of dirty drinking water? These rough statistics may seem daunting at first, but these are things that occur every day. Pollution is a major problem in today's world, but the main points that need to be brought into the greatest light are air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. One of the most common forms of pollution is air pollution. Air pollution grew to become a great problem around the Industrial Revolution. The biggest source of air pollution is the burning of fossil fuels such as coal and oil. The burning of these materials leads to the fumes and chemicals being released into the air. One of the most major sources of air pollution is the automobile. Although cars today are in fact much cleaner than cars 30 years ago, there are simply so many more cars being driven today. The processes occurring within the engines of vehicles release an assortment of pollutants into the air, along with dirt and smaller particles. More than 30,000 people die every year from car emissions alone. Among all the greenhouse gases released, the most prominent are carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and methane. All of these gases can be harmful to humans. Air pollution has also been called one of the main reasons behind another ongoing problem on Earth, global warming. Another common form of pollution is water pollution. This type of pollution is probably the most devastating because not only does it affect us humans, but it also affects millions of organisms in the oceans and seas. Dirty water is currently the world's largest health risk, with over 14,000 deaths per day. Underdeveloped countries suffer the most, with over 1 billion people in the world lacking safe drinking water. Most sources of drinking water today are polluted and undrinkable. The causes of these problems tend to arise from large companies and manufacturing factories dumping their excess waste and materials into the ocean. 45% of all lakes, rivers, and streams in the US are too dangerous for swimming, fishing, or drinking because of waste. Another cause is the accidental spillage of oil or petroleum into the oceans. These accidents are devastating to the organisms living in the oceans and can have a lasting effect on the ecosystem. The last major form of pollution is soil pollution. This type of pollution is equally as destructive as all the other forms, even if it is one of the least noticeable. Soil pollution is destructive because it affects the ecosystem itself. It is one of the most devastating forms of pollution in terms of the ecosystem. Soil pollution ultimately disturbs the balance of the ecosystem, such as the death of earthworms. The major causes include landfills, chemical dumping, pesticides, and increased crop production. People living near polluted lands are more vulnerable to poisons and long-term diseases such as cancer, leukemia, and more. In conclusion, everyone should be aware of the lasting repercussions and consequences that pollution can have on our everyday lives. We see that pollution not only affects humans, but also the organisms that keep us alive. A quote by Evo Morales states, "Sooner or later, we will have to recognize that the earth has rights too, to live without pollution. What mankind must know is that human beings cannot live without Mother Earth, but the planet can live without humans."